Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Fantastic Mr. Podcast. Today we're talking about watching movies in the movie theater versus watching movies at home. What are the pros? What are the cons? Which do we prefer? We're also going to delve into physical media and the future of the once big home market. So sit back and relax as we talk about the movie theaters in our town and the movie theaters in our home. I should have said the movie theaters in our hearts. That'd have been better, but it wouldn't make sense. Okay, so today we're talking about going to the movies versus sitting at home, and we've talked about this a little bit with streaming, streaming versus going to the movie theaters. So I guess we're just um, rehashing this subject again. So I guess my first question to you guys is which do you prefer? I'm sure I know the answer, but for the sake of the podcast, which one do you prefer?
Man, I prefer the theater, obviously.
Yeah.
It's great. You get in a dark room, you turn off your cell phone, you get a big bucket of popcorn and your overpriced fizzy drink, and you just kind of forget everything for 2.5, 3 hours as you watch a story unfold. And it's awesome. What happens is I watch at home on streaming on like my 42-inch television and it sucks. But what can you do?
Yeah.
42 inches is big.
That's what she said.
Not
Indeed.
anymore, man. The average size of a home television is like 60 inches.
Yeah,
You know,
seriously, like
you have
you
me beat, Jake. I'm like 30 something.
mine's 70.
Wow.
Even the in this room I'm in right now, I have a TV I'm looking at and it's 50 inches and that's just like my office.
That's your
What would you
secondary. That's your
Yeah.
small TV.
what would you say is standard or average in terms
I
of
would say average is probably
size
50
people
to
buy?
55. I would say
Yeah.
that's probably the average. Now, people like me who want like as close to the movie theater experience at home as I can get, I bought a 70-inch TV and I have surround sound, and stuff like that. So like that's kind of my jam, but sometimes people don't really care. Like Zach, who has like a 25-inch TV in his living room. How big is your
Something
TV?
like that. It's like 30, 32, let's say.
Yeah, we
That's
watched
So
a
yeah,
movie on
close
that.
to it.
You
We
remember
did.
when me and you,
Harry,
man?
when Harry met Sally, I
Yeah,
think
me
was
and
one of
you,
them. There
me
was
and
another
Mandy
movie
went.
too.
Well, yeah, we did. I think we watched Joker.
Joker, yeah.
Was that because Mandy was there with us?
Hmm.
And we watched. I definitely remember watching When Harry Met Sally, and like that's
Yeah.
like one of your favorite movies. And I was like, this movie sucks. Like I do not care for
We'll
that.
we'll get an episode on romantic comedies one of these days.
We
and
should
I'll bring it up.
actually.
I would enjoy that. I
That is
enjoy
a
romantic
great.
comedies.
No,
And how
that I do not
go
enjoy
ahead.
romantic comedies, so
Right.
that would be
Well,
a
I
great
enjoy
episode.
I enjoy them
Wow.
when they're not
Cynic over
dumb.
here.
There's intelligent romantic comedies and there's like the stupid romantic
Yes.
comedies where just they're abysmal to watch. Like yet you watch it and
Yeah.
you're upset. It's hard to keep your eyes off a train wreck.
Not really. I can just turn it off real quick. The only one I didn't turn off was when I went and saw Anyone But You because Sydney Sweeney was in it, and
And you're at the
she's not
theater.
she's not a good actress, but man, she's hot, and so I'm down to see a movie with her in it.
You were
And
watching it for the plot, 100%.
yeah, the two plots right on her chest. There was a really cute moment in it. Not gonna lie, it was a really cute moment, and then the end was really cute. Like like the credit scene was cute, but
Yeah, I just didn't buy the chemistry between Howell and Sweeney, to be honest.
I seriously, dude, like it felt really forced, especially at the end. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. And yes, I would actually love to talk about romantic comedies. Maybe next time.
Rom-coms, as the kids say these days.
Yeah. I like love stories. Don't get me wrong, but they have to be done right in order for me to enjoy them. And we can talk about that. That's a great,
Don't you also have a projection system?
I
Justin?
do. And that's actually in this room that I'm in right now. You can't see it, but there's a screen above me. You pull it down and, I, s- I stopped using it because the projector is great. It's a great projector, but it's kind of old. And in order to use like surround sound on it, you have to use like older speakers, and I don't have older speakers, and so the sound was in and out. Like intermittently, it'd be really low, and then it'd be fine, really low, and it would do that through a whole movie. So I said, "Screw this." I was like, maybe in the future I'll And I don't know if we talked about this before, but I'll build my own movie theater, and
Oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah, that's kind of like that's the dream actually, is having a home movie theater and having an actual movie theater. That's the dream. So yeah, I do have one, and it's still hanging up. Like the projector's still hanging up for because I didn't want to take it down, but um, I don't use it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the theater one day.
Yeah, I'll invite you over, and you can drive all the way up from Texas to watch a movie.
Sounds good.
I do have a huge structure outside, like a shed that I
Ooh,
think would be perfect.
a shed.
Yeah, turning into like a tiny home, if you will, but
I'm thinking a
Hey,
shed right now, and I'm thinking of that scene from that movie with the guy that walks around killing people. And,
which one?
the
in the
You're talking
nature.
about in violent nature. I
Yeah,
knew it when
yeah,
you were talking about,
yeah.
but it's like, come on.
That's the first thing I've thought of when I thought of a shed just
Yeah.
now was that gruesome, slow scene of death.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. So, we all three clearly prefer like the movie theater. And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think my reason is probably the same as yours. To me, like going to the movies is an experience, no matter what you're seeing. Like, I went to see Maxine the other day, and me and my friend Blake usually sometimes go to the movies together because he loves movies as well. And I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Maxine tomorrow?" And he was like, and this was a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Well, actually, that's not a movie I care to see in theaters." And I said, "Yeah," and I was like, "Dude, every movie should be watched in theaters." And I think I told him that. I was like, dude, every movie should, if you can watch a movie in theaters. But instead, we saw A Quiet Place, which is fine. Um, Maxine was better. So we went to see A Quiet Place because that was like a bigger budget movie. And, he was like, I was like, yeah, I'll go see A Quiet Place. That's fine.
But he
So I went
doesn't
and saw.
believe that indie movies should have a theater experience.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think those are some of the best movies to see in
I would
theaters.
say those are probably ones that benefit from a theater setting the most
Yeah,
because a lot of times they're usually bare bones or simple. They don't have as flashy production, and you kind of need to turn everything else off to really focus on it.
I agree. And so, like, it's the same with in a Violent Nature. You go see In a Violent Nature versus going to see like a Friday movie or The Conjuring, even bigger budgets and scarier things. And it's like, I don't know, seeing it in the theater, like it would be fine seeing it here, right, at home, but seeing it in the theater, I thought made it that much better. And that's kind of how I feel with any movie I see in the theater. Like I am always down to go see, and like it's kind of the same with like re-releases, right? Where you movies come out again, like The Wizard of Oz. I went to see that in theaters not too long ago, and it was great. The Nightmare Before Christmas, I saw that in theaters recently, and it was great. So I
I
don't know.
really like that they brought, I can say, like retro films. They're bringing films back into theaters because, like, I got to see Jaws in theaters, and it was fantastic. I can imagine, like, when that first came out and they were experiencing it for
Mhm.
the first time,
Dude,
so freaking cool.
let me ask you this: What movie? What is the number one movie you would like to see in theaters at its original release?
Oh,
Maybe not number one, but give me a few of them that you might like to see.
I mean, this is probably the cop out answer, but definitely Star Wars.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you have to see Star Wars in
I totally
theaters.
agree with you.
That
No, dude,
would that
that
would be incredible.
that was going to be one of my choices. Star Wars all the way.
Same.
Yeah, but man, like something like E.T.
That'd have been
would be
cool.
incredible to see in
Mhm.
theaters, or like Back to the Future. Pretty much like any of the movies from like the 80s or 90s would probably be incredible to see
Honestly,
in
I would really
theaters.
like to have seen a silent film in theaters.
Mm.
I remember when I was watching Pearl. I don't know if you guys seen that movie, but she goes and she goes to a movie theater where she like meets one of the projectionists. And first of all, I would have loved to have seen the projection room in a theater back then, not just the silent days, but up to when they changed to digital, right? Because like you get to watch like a film projector run and all that. It's kind of like could you imagine going like you saw Oppenheimer on film, right, Zach?
Yeah.
So
I
could you
finally got to
imagine?
see it
Yeah,
after
could you
the
imagine going up to
conundrum.
the projection room to see that thing running? Like that would have been so freaking cool.
Yeah, there was one station in the Midwest that did a story on
On that,
the
yeah.
massive film, and It was pretty cool. I wish I had the opportunity. I think someone from my station had reached out to like the local
Hmm.
theater that was showcasing the 70 millimeter version, and never got a response back.
Oh, lame. I would have
But
gone up there.
I mean, that would have been
Sucks.
cool to see for sure.
Do you
And hearing the
do you still
machine,
have
and
do you know where you can find the story of the station that did do it?
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, find it
Yeah,
and send it
I'll
to
link
me.
it.
I would like to see that. So yeah, I mean, even now, like Christopher Nolan, it seems like he's the only one that still does film. Um,
He's been very adamant
yeah,
in
I
film
mean,
and very
keep it
adamant
alive.
in theater.
Um, I would have liked to have seen it, like just be back there. But yeah, I would like in Pearl, she goes to meet a projectionist that she met earlier in the film, and he shows her, some things, and he ends up showing her like silent porn basically on the theater because
Hmm.
nobody was there. Um, but like he also showed her the Ziegfeld Follies, which is like a um silent, what do they call it? Stage acts, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, it was silent still, and I was like, man, that'd have been so cool to see in theaters where you're like, I would have liked to have seen like The Kid in theaters, which I don't know if y'all have seen The Kid, but it's a Charlie Chaplin movie. It's
Hmm.
really good. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. Um, but yeah, I would have liked to seen something like The Kid in theaters. But yeah, of course, Star Wars always number one. And I'd like to see something kind of like Casablanca, which I have seen that in theaters, but not in 19 whatever, or Citizen Kane. Like that'd have been cool to see in theaters.
Citizen Kane in theaters would be awesome.
Yeah. Which, funnily enough, nobody re-releases Citizen Kane. Have you noticed that?
Wow.
There's not been
Man, another movie I'd like to
remasters.
see in theaters would be Chinatown
That'd been
with
cool.
with Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Did we
Yeah.
have an episode on that?
Well, yeah, we did.
We
Yeah.
did in our 70s, our
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s series.
We all watched it, remember?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think going like if I did one thing, if I had a time machine, I'd do one thing and go see some movies in theaters and like just to go to some of these old movie houses when they were like in their prime, right? Like not like now where like our downtown theater, if you will, is a playhouse now, which is great, but it's not a movie house anymore. It's for plays. And so
Movie
like
house. That's what my grandparents called it.
yeah, well, just want to make sure you know what I'm
Ice
talking about.
box instead of the fridge, which
Nice.
were legit terms.
Yeah,
Still are.
that's what we used to call it an ice box. Now I call it a refrigerator because I'm older.
Or the freezer.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for me, going to theaters, and I usually go every week. I try to go once a week because I don't have any kids. Right.
As far as we know, I mean, there
Right?
could be
Yeah.
a
That sounded
little
like a question. Do you?
Justina out there in the world. You never know.
No, you're probably right. I think, and I've talked about this with people before. Like, I bet you there's at least one. There has to be.
Little Justin Jr. awaiting the day
Yeah,
that
he
he
wouldn't
gets to meet
be.
his father.
He or she wouldn't be named Justin Jr. That's for sure. Anyway, so yeah, theaters. So what do you think the benefits of going to the theaters are?
What are the benefits, Jake? Objective, of course.
That's funny. For me, okay, I'll start. Like for me, going to theaters again is an experience, but it's like there's always surround sound, right? So when things are supposed to happen behind you, they happen behind you, right? And the
They
screen is
should.
bigger. Yeah, screen is bigger. I don't know. Like I don't know. For me, it's just being there.
How about the type
Um,
of seat that you're
yeah, because
in?
now they've a lot of theaters upgraded to reclining seats. Where our theater here in town in Benton is still like the old
Stadium
school.
seating.
Yeah,
The
stadium
problem
seating.
with those new ones though, like the new leather ones though, is like as they get older, they turn into fart chairs. Like you start,
Oh
you'll
yeah.
like you barely move, and you're like, and you're like, oh, now I gotta sit. I gotta
Oh, my
sit
goodness.
still, otherwise people think I'm gassing up the
Well,
joint.
that's funnier when it makes a sound while you're reclining or putting the recliner down and it's like
Oh, I hate when people do that mid movie. Like some kid somewhere is like is constantly adjusting the reclining for his legs. Yeah.
But and like movie tavern, weird enough, and that's where you and I saw Shazam, Zach.
The
They're
nacho incident.
they have the nacho incident. They their chairs are starting to be like that, and I'm like, this is a brand new freaking theater. How are their chairs anyway? And another benefit is like you talked about overpriced soda and whatever, but like some of them sell food, which is also overpriced, but it's a neat concept. Like the movie tavern sells like as a has a whole full kitchen, and
Yeah.
so you can get tacos or nachos even like stuff like that, and then some of them also started selling alcohol. And I actually went to the
Yeah.
movie theater last Sunday to see Princess Mononoke, which is a Studio Ghibli film, and they had alcohol and they could sell it even though it was Sunday in Arkansas. You can't sell alcohol on Sunday at like liquor stores and Walmart and stuff. And but you can sell it if you're a restaurant.
Yep.
And so
Mm,
I got an
yeah.
Angry Orchard and I was like, man, I'm so glad. I thought I was gonna have to go without alcohol today. I made myself sound like an alcoholic, but that was a joke.
The
Yeah, I was
Ori
gonna say
kids.
the theater here in Arkansas, the Razorback Cinema Grill, has alcohol that you can order. They have like a
Mm,
bar there. You can
mm,
order stuff and you like
Wow.
take it to your
yeah.
seat, sit down.
And used to you could order it from because when Movie Tavern first opened, they had a little button on your table that lit up when you needed a server. So servers would have to kind of be on guard, and you press a button and they come to you and you order. Well, now they do everything through the app. They took the buttons away, everything through the app, and you can't order alcohol in the app. You have to go physically to the bar and get it.
That's lame.
Yeah, super lame. So like I'm like that's why I don't get alcohol there because I don't want to unless I get it like at the beginning and then I just don't get a refill. So
Why do you think they changed that protocol?
probably because well, I think they changed that protocol because you can't really verify your age on an app, so they need to ID you.
So they might
Because
feel like they're disrupting the whole movie. Like,
yeah, you just have to get up
let me see your ID or something.
yeah, and well, and
Sometimes.
they just moved over to the app, so like you could totally order through a server before, but now you just don't. They just bring you your food. And so I guess since they went over to the app, they're like, well, we can't verify ages on apps, so if they want alcohol, they have to come get it themselves.
Some poor bartender is like sitting in the back. He's like, "That's the fifth 11-year-old this week."
Well, they wouldn't be the fit because they'd gotten fired by now. I would hope. I would hope.
No, like it's like the app. They're like, they have
Mm.
to go check the guy and his
Oh,
11-year-old.
That
yeah.
would be funny. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could do that. Like when they get an order, they have to go ID the person, but no, they just nip it in the bud and just you come to the. That's why I don't really get alcohol there. It's kind of the same with Cinemark in Little Rock. They sell alcohol too, but it's very like bare bones alcohol. So you can't get mixed drinks and stuff like you can at Movie Tavern. You can get like I had gotten an Angry Orchard for which is what I'm drinking now. Um, I got Angry Orchard from Princess Mononoke, and let me just tell you something: $7 for a bottle of Angry Orchard, and it tastes the exact same. I can get a
It's
12
from
pack for
cans,
20.
bud.
No, it's from a bottle, but yes, he straight up got the bottle out, poured it into a cup in front of us,
Into a
and handed
cup.
it to him. And so I'm like, yeah, $7 for this thing, where I can get a 12 pack for about $20, I think. So a 12 pack of at $7 a piece is like what? Hang on, I'm gonna do
Seven
the
times
math.
12, 84.
Yeah, it's 84. It's
84
Good.
$84.
bucks.
Good. Quick at that
So anyway, what are some
location.
pros for going to the movies for you guys?
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
we've talked about sound. I think just the fact that you're in this dark space, the expectation is phones off, pay attention to the movie, and there's this large screen. So you
Mm,
just get sucked into it. There's really no way about it. At
yeah.
home, you can pause it, you can go to the bathroom, still mess with the dogs, the kid, has to be put to bed, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Whereas if you go to the theater, you have an uninterrupted 2.5 hours
Yeah. Yeah.
of just story. And I think that's what really makes the difference is just being in a space that's built for it
Yeah.
and being able to be uninterrupted to enjoy it.
I didn't think about that. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but like when I watch movies, like say with my friends, my friend Leah is on her phone like most of the time sometimes. I'm like, dude, You watching the movie on your phone, the screen's up there. And then when I go to my like when I watch a movie with my brother, my older brother, he pauses it constantly. I gotta pause it real quick. I gotta pause it real quick. I gotta pause it real quick. I'm just like, dude,
And why is he pausing it to ask questions?
no, he gets
Make a
up to do
comment?
stuff. He gets up and goes around and does stuff. I'm like, you can wait to do this. Or you can watch it while you're doing this. It's not like the kitchen's in a different room.
That's
Um,
usually what I do. If I'm watching a movie and I have to do something, I will simply
I
let
mean,
the
it's
movie
not
keep
a
going
no,
and
like it
do.
depends on what it is and where we're out at in the film. Like if we're in the middle of it and someone's getting up, I'm like, oh no, I'm pausing it. Like you're not missing any of this, right? But yeah, sometimes I can be like, do you want to pause it? And they'll be like, no. So I'm like, okay. What about you, Zach?
Pros and cons.
Just the pros for now.
And this is for the theater or at
Yeah,
home.
theater.
Let's say feel like you're, I don't know, in a different world. You're in this enclosed environment, which is often pretty big, and you have no distractions except the occasional person that's chatting, asking questions,
Or
making
someone's phone
comments.
goes off.
Oh, that's pretty common too. Or you see
Yeah.
someone the glint of someone's phone, someone scrolling through Facebook nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Um,
Oddly enough, one thing that distracted me at the IMAX in Little Rock is like when you open the door, you can see the light coming in from and it like shines on the screen. So you
Oh
can see the
wow,
light coming in from the lobby.
that's
And
cool
that
planning.
and that all yeah, and that always distracts me. When I go see it and if I see a movie in IMAX, it always I'm sorry, Zach, go ahead. But yeah, I just thought about that.
yeah, I think the pros certainly outweigh the cons for me. I like
Oh yeah,
a
totally.
sound system. I wish I had a proper sound system, but I'm not going to invest in one for home movie or TV enjoyment until I get a good TV, like a bigger TV, whenever that may be. But yeah, I think it gets again. It's for me the distractions, the lack of them. For me personally, at the theater, I don't have to be on my phone because I'll be honest, I'll be on I have my phone like next to me when I'm watching movies at home, and like whether there's something important to look at or not. It just I guess a lot of us these days just
I mean, I was
mindlessly pick up the phone and look through things we don't even know we're doing. It's like it's automatic, sadly.
yeah.
So in the theater, I'm all about good manners. So, and I've known it's weird. Like once you're in the theater, you don't have the desire, at least I don't, to pull out my phone. Like if I were on my couch and I see my phone, I'll just pick it up every now and then and see what's going on. But yeah, I feel like the theater's overall a better experience for me. I guess that the other cons would be occasionally when I've been to an auditorium and I see like a big old mark or a certain discoloration on the screen, and it's hard to not see that throughout the duration of the movie. But I eventually forget about it. But I'll just mark in my phone or something not to reserve movies for auditorium number 12, for example, at a particular theater.
That's cool.
And it's like there's no point of letting them know. They're not going to fix it. It costs a lot of money. But like seeing glitches like that, or when what do you call the panels that like kind of open to reveal more of the screen? Sometimes they haven't revealed like opened completely, so you're left with some of this picture cut off.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I've been to the point where I've almost left a screen because it just would ruin the theater, or
Interesting.
even or subtitles not being properly on
Uh,
the screen, and it's like a foreign film. That's never happened to me, but I've heard that happen
that's
to
happened
some
to me
people.
once.
Really, for what
Yeah.
movie?
When I saw French Dispatch, some of it's in French and the subtitles weren't on the actual screen. They were
Wow.
cut off. And so I was
God,
just left there listening to French that I didn't understand. And so, I mean, I watched the whole movie and it was at Riverdale and I don't really like Riverdale, but it was the
You
only
should have
place
studied harder in French class. If you
I,
were.
I didn't, dude, I never took a French class. I, I just, the whole movie's not in French, right? So some of it
Yeah.
does have French language and with subtitles, but I saw it there because it was the only place where it was playing, and so I went to Riverdale, which I don't care for Riverdale. But
It has
yeah,
a charm about it, doesn't it?
it does a little bit simply because it's an older theater and it really hasn't been updated that much besides like digital projection and stuff. So that's kind of nice. Like I don't, and the same with the theater in Hot Springs. I went to see Jesus Revolution there, and It was the weirdest thing. We were sitting in these great chairs, but like the screen was pretty small and it was like up higher than most screens, which was weird to me. I mean, I went to that theater several times as a kid because that's where I lived and that's what I knew. But man, after going to like, IMAX and even Tinseltown here in Benton, like I'm like, this is stupid. But we went there because that's where my mom lives and we went and saw Jesus Revolution. So,
That's
um,
awesome. I like how sometimes you could find theaters that are for once other facilities. Like for example, when I lived in Helena, Montana, at my first job in the business, there was this jail. Well, it used to be a jail, historic jail, and it was turned into a fine arts center, not only for like movies but like plays and musical events. So it was pretty interesting the history of how this place that used to hold people captive or doing bad things, presumably, and then it was
now it holds people
transformed into
captive in a different way.
yes, beautiful.
Mm.
Remember, there was a video game tournament even held there once, and I did a little VOSA there.
Oh, that's cool.
Remember that, but
What
it's
was the
called
video game?
I forget. I think it was Super Smash Brothers. To be
Oh, okay,
honest,
that makes sense.
it was something kid friendly, but it's called the Myrna Loy in Helena, Montana, and that Myrna Loy she's an American actress from the
Myrna,
1920s. Myrna Loy,
Myrna.
MY,
Oh, Myrna.
yeah, Loy, and that's you could read all about it.
Myrna Loy,
But
what?
Myrna Loy Theater, or just you should pop up.
Oh
But
yeah, Myrna,
so
the Myrna Loy is what it's
Myrna
called.
Loy, yes. So
Helena, Montana.
yes, you should go there. But it's
I
probably the
mean,
best. It's the best like untraditional, non-traditional theater I've been to
it
so
looks
far.
great. I've actually
It's not old either, like Riverdale, where the facilities aren't
mhm.
maintained and the
It looks
AC
like
is
it's been
loud when
up.
it turns on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like it's been updated. I've always like I wanted to do one thing I wanted to do this summer. I looked up a bunch of um older movie theaters that are still operating as movie theaters, and I was like, I really want to go on like a movie theater tour. Like I think that would be so
that'd
cool.
be cool. Make a YouTube channel out of it.
Yeah, and just go watch a movie at these places. Like not even know what movie's playing. Just get there and be like, okay, I'll see this movie. Um, so I thought that would be really like a really cool thing to do. Or somewhere like this where it's like used to be one thing, now they've turned it into this thing. Like that'd be really cool to do. And I know I think I'll do it eventually, but man, that was like a kind of a thing I thought of before summer started and I never did it. Um, so
How
speaking,
would you find these places, these
I just looked them up.
theaters?
I
Oh,
pretty much
the
I don't remember.
list.
I just Googled like um old movie theaters or something. I don't know what I Googled. But yeah, they brought up a list and I looked them all up and looking to see which ones were still operating as movie theaters or what they were now kind of thing. And I was like, it'd be cool to do. And I even thought about that. Like it'd be cool to do like a short YouTube series on it
Yeah,
for
that'd be
this
cool.
for this like channel, our channel. Because it just makes sense, right? So anyway, okay. I wanted to say whenever I go to movie theaters, one thing I do to ensure that I'm not distracted is I will put my phone on do not disturb. I will also put my watch because I wear an Apple Watch on what's called theater mode, where because like if you put it on do not disturb, it'll still turn on when you bring it up, right? It'll still show you the screen. So theater mode, it won't show you anything. It'll just be black. So I do that to ensure that I don't, you know, if like my phone goes off. The only time it'll go off is if one of my favorites calls me. And there have been like a couple weeks, like a few weeks, like I've went to the movies and my brother calls me and he's because he was going that's when him and his wife were going to the movies a lot. So he would call me and he'd be like, you want to go to the movies? And I'm like, I'm already at the movies. But when your favorites call you, at least on iPhone, it gets through no matter if you're on Do Not Disturb or not, or
How
any
do you
alarms.
how do you respond on the through the watch?
No, I do it on the phone because I have to turn the ringtone on, or I have to turn the vibration up. So I'll just say I'm at the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
What one of the guys I work with has a iPhone and an Apple Watch, and he's able to turn it off from his watch.
I mean, I probably could, but I just pull out my phone out of instinct and I'm like, because I guess in theater mode, now that I think about it, you don't get the notification on your watch. So I pull it off and just turn it off on my phone, or I'd say, "Hey, I'm at the movies." And so he'll be like, "Well, I was gonna see if you want to go to the movies." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Like,
So, yeah, and so yeah, that's the only time. Or when sometimes I'll have an alarm set. So like during Spider-Man, when Spider-Man Mondays, I always have an alarm set for the podcast. I always 10 minutes before the podcast starts. And so it would go off and I'd always forget about it. And it would go off at 8:50 while watching the movies. And I'm like, crap. And I'm like reaching to get my phone and turn it off real fast. But yeah, for the most part, I like to like I would I should just leave my phone in the car, honestly. It's not like I need it. But then again, I do get on my phone before the movie starts. So
to let us know you'll be late
yeah,
to the podcast.
or to yeah, and I have to do my movie post, my posts on Facebook. So
Right.
anyway, so
And you got to let us know if there's someone sitting next to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
The
good
listeners at
transition.
home, he always
Good,
complains. If
yeah,
someone
good,
sits next to him, we get a message like someone's sitting next to me.
It's a
good,
legit
yeah,
reason.
good transition though, because I was just about to ask you about what your cons were. And one of mine is, and this is a fairly new thing,
I'll
is
have a good
like,
story about my con on that.
yeah, mainly because like when I go to the movies now, it's usually on Tuesday nights and there's really not a lot of people. So I'm used to not having to sit next to people, but sometimes, especially like one of the most recent times at the movies I can think of that was on a Tuesday night was Cocaine Bear. When I went and saw Cocaine Bear, it was only playing in Little Rock, but it was packed. So I had to sit next to somebody. Or Godzilla. Godzilla was the same way. Godzilla minus one. And so like I get a lot of anxiety from when people sit next to me in the theaters. And I'm like, why the hell? And especially the first year I did the Oscars marathon, and there was this person, this one old lady that would get a seat right next to mine, even though like there were seats available all around us. And so
Yeah, but were you in a good spot? Like, were
yes,
you center of
I
the
understand
theater?
why she did it. Like I do understand that, but I'm like, dude, even if I bought a ticket and me and this lady obviously don't think the same, but like if I see somebody is sitting in the middle, I'm gonna buy a seat on the end or in a different row in the middle, right? I'm not gonna pick right there next to that one person. It's just weird. And so one thing that I don't like to do is sit next to people that I don't know in theaters. I will if I have to, if it's very unavoidable. But man, when I saw Godzilla for the first time, I sat down and then this couple sat next to me and another couple sat on the other side of me. And like the couple on this side of me started talking to me. And it was because they ordered,
Talking.
yeah,
What?
well, it's because they ordered popcorn. And now you can get popcorn delivered to your seat. So they ordered popcorn and someone delivered it to them. Well, then someone came and delivered another thing of popcorn and they're like, "Oh no, we got our popcorn." And the dude was like, "Oh, you could just have it." And I was like, "Dude, no, take that away. Like, why are you giving?" Because they were like, "We're not going to eat this." And so they asked me if I wanted it. And I was like, "No." Like my anxiety.
What?
Nonchalant.
No,
Yeah,
free
well,
popcorn.
my anxiety told me, "Do not take that popcorn."
Something in
Couldn't be
it.
me.
Poisoned.
Because I would
I'd
have
be
to. Well,
scarfing down
no,
that popcorn.
it would more like I would have to continue interacting with these people. Like I don't know them, don't want to know them. I don't want to take the popcorn. And then eventually, I was like, you know what? I'm moving. And so I went and sat in like
Man.
one of the handicap seats in the very front of the.
And the couple was like, man, all we did
What?
was offer you some
That's what
popcorn.
I thought about that later, and I was like,
What if
these guys probably think I'm like the biggest dick in the
Yeah,
world.
that's what I
But
was about to ask. Wouldn't that be more anxiety inducing? That when do I make the move to switch
yeah,
seats?
it was until I
That
did it.
that'd be the biggest
Yeah. No,
worry
it
for
totally
me.
was. I was like, I'm gonna move now. And then, like the thing about it is, it's like it's distracting. So I'm like, if I don't move now, I'm gonna think about this through the whole movie, and I'm not gonna really pay attention. So I was like, I just need to go. And then I went to see Lord of the Rings in theaters again, and the same thing happened. I was like, I did not expect this many people to be here. So
You
I was
didn't
able.
expect a
Wow.
turnout for a re-release of Lord of the Rings?
Mm-mm.
One of the most
Not as many.
influential
Not
trilogies of our generation?
not as many people that were there in Benton. Now in Little Rock, yes, I would expect that. But like in Benton, I was like, I think I'll be okay. But then I got there and man, that theater was pretty packed. And so I was like,
Diehards everywhere.
Yeah, I was even like, oh my God. But I sat down and I kind of dealt with that, but because I really wanted to sit in that spot. So I just kind of dealt like I can deal with it if I need to, but if I can get around it, I'm out. Um,
Mhm.
so then also, of course, cons, which guys will probably mention for me is like people talking. Like when I went and saw Bones and All with Timothy Chalamet and Taylor Russell. Great movie, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it. There were these kids talking in the back, and they were just talking and talking and talking. And this it was so funny. This guy that was in front of me finally was like, "Wait, didn't come in the movie to hear you talk," and they did not talk the rest of the
He
time.
said
It
it
was
just like
so
that.
funny. Yeah, and basically, yeah, he's like, "Wait, I got in the movie to hear you talk." I was like, "Oh, thank God," because I wouldn't have said anything. Like I'm too much of a, excuse my language, I'm too much of a pussy, right? I'm just not gonna say it.
And you probably worry about, are they going to attack me later in the
Yeah,
show?
like what if I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna
Shanked
get my
from behind,
But
bruh.
they
Oh my
were,
gosh.
yeah, they were like teenagers. So, and then I went to see remember when Conjuring, not Conjuring, Annabelle Creation, I think came out. And it was when I was working at Channel 7. And I was like, you know what? because I got off kind of early that night. And I was like, I'm going to go see a movie. So I went to see Annabelle at like 10 o'clock. And there were these teenagers behind me and they were talking, they were talking. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is going to suck. But then they stopped talking as the movie started getting like into it. So I was like, thank God. Because I thought I was going to have to leave. But yeah, talking, people commenting like on the movie, trying to guess what's going to happen next, kind of thing, and that always bothers me. And just people getting up and stuff, like in normal stuff, is
How
basically what
about,
bothers me.
does it maybe like, why should we care type of mindset, I guess? But how about when people go to use the bathroom, or you see people leave and then they never come back? Like, I feel disappointed when they do that.
That
Like, at least
happened.
when they leave and never come back, or like at like 20 minutes into the film,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
really,
like, dude,
you wasted that money.
yeah,
And I see them with their massive bucket of popcorn
yeah.
and whatever. It's like, come on,
When
really? I
I
mean, people do what they want, I guess, but still,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
your
like,
money, man.
you drove here, and it's like, it shows like for me, it seems to me like they're quick to switch channels.
Oh yeah,
Um, or this doesn't look good. On to the next thing on my list. It's just like,
yeah. But a
come on,
movie's
people.
different, dude. Like I'll sit through a movie if it's bad for the most part. Like I don't think I've never left a movie.
Me
Um,
neither.
when I went and saw Bike Riders, the guy did that. He just got up and left, and I was like, he never came back. It's like, oh my God, like
The,
the movie
the
was
only,
great.
Yeah, that's amazing. The only
Yeah.
movie that I've not finished at home was Wonder Woman 84. It was just so bad to
Did you
me.
go see it in theaters?
No, at
Oh, at
home.
home. Okay. Yeah, I still watched it. Like I watched through it at home. Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good at all. Like movie was kind of stupid. Um,
Dialogue, 80s cheese.
it wasn't even the dialogue, it was the story. Like the story was dumb. Anyway, Kristen Wiig in the movie. I'm like, dude, who decided to add Kristen Wiig to this movie? Like you gotta if you're gonna add Cheetah to a movie, you gotta figure out a different way to do it because it just wasn't good. But yeah. What about you, Jake?
Unfortunately, like I really like to go to movie with friends. Unfortunately, a lot of my friends are those people who
Yeah.
talk to films. Like, we went to go see. We had a guys' night when Dune 2 came out. So I convinced my buddies to go see Dune with me. We got up at the theater, uh, and it's like one backed out because he actually thought it was the wrong date. So he drove
Oh yeah, you told us
from
this.
he drove us from like Bentonville to Fayetteville the night before when it was like closed. And so he's like, I'm not doing that again. And the other one, we get in our seat, which is like the last row of the theater. And so like me and my buddy Luke are there, and the trailers are going, and our other guy Sam is just like not showing up. We're like, do you think he's gonna show up? Do you think he's gonna show up? I was like, I bet he's gonna be late. And sure enough, he was like probably like 10, 15 minutes late. He hops down, he's like, sorry guys, I was having sex. He's like, oh my God.
That's a great line for a movie right there. My goodness.
And
Yeah.
it's like the beginning of Dune 2, where it's like everything's like all serious and quiet and stuff. And then
Guys, having sex.
I was having sex.
Oh,
And then
I love it.
and then I don't remember what it was. I think it was like the water of life or something like that. Something set him off. And he just got talking about buckets of cum. GB really
Weird.
he was just like, So he's something said somebody he's like, I got buckets of cum. And he's like,
Uh,
hey, tell him I got buckets of cum. Tell him about my cum. And it's like every time there was a quiet moment in the film, he was like lean over, he's like whisper in my ear. It's like, tell him about the cum. I'm like, oh my God.
there was when we went and saw
But I
Joker.
love him. I have to say that if you're listening, because he actually does listen to us.
Oh, that's
So
good.
he makes movies enjoyable.
We went and saw Joker. It was one of the, I think you and I, Zach, saw it like 3 times together. Um,
Mhm.
but it was like me, you, and I think Hope went with us. And you remember
Yeah.
that time Hope went with us was Movie Tavern. But then my friend Josh and Jake came. And they're those kind of people who will, different Jake, they're those kind of people who will like goof off and joke at the movie. And like they started doing that, and like it wasn't just, if it was just us three, I probably would have joined in with them, but it wasn't just us three. It was me and Zach and Hope as well. And so I was like, dude, like I was like starting to be embarrassed because of the way they were acting. They
Was this the
eventually
first
stopped,
time
but it was I
you
know,
met
dude, it
them?
was like the first time you met them. It wasn't the first
Yeah.
time you had met Josh. You probably the
Uh,
first time you met
I
Jake.
knew what to expect. There you
Yeah.
go.
So like,
I didn't
and then
mind.
well, it bothered me at the time because I was like, dude, like, come on, guys, because we were like I mean, we weren't the only ones there, but it wasn't a full theater.
No.
But yeah, we were. But when one time, Josh and I went to the movie theaters. Me and Josh and my girlfriend at the time, and his wife Leah, and Josh and I were goofing off and joking around. Doing, we went to see one of the Sinister movies. And so my girlfriend was so mad at the end of it. She goes, "You can have movie nights with them by yourself." I was like, "Okay, great." Like I didn't want you to come anyway,
See
because
ya.
not to mention the movie was about had like scenes where they were killing kids, and she had kids at the time, and she was like, "I don't want to see those kind of movies anyway." I'm like, dude, shut up. So anyway, so like sometimes I can be those kind of people, but I usually go to the movies by myself. So
Is that the
okay,
best way to enjoy a movie? I guess it depends on what it is.
like what do you
By
mean?
yourself or maybe with one other
Oh
person.
no, I like watching movies with other people. Like me and my friend Blake go to the movies together a lot, and we don't really say anything to each other during the movies, but we talk about it afterwards,
Like
and so
or the
that's
build up
nice.
or before.
Yeah, and so that's nice. Like when we get to talk about it after. It's like I'm going to see Long Legs tomorrow by myself, but luckily I have a friend who's seen it before, so I'm gonna be like, dude.
I've
And
heard
then
that's an incredible horror
yeah,
story.
yeah, that's what he told me, and I was like, I'll go see it. And then Thursday I'm gonna go see Deadpool and Wolverine with another friend of mine. So I'm excited for that. And so like, yeah, it's like I like going to movies by myself because I can kind of, it's just me, and then just go see the movie, go home. But
Spoiler alert. Everyone dies basically from the Fox X-Men universe. Because you remember you see the 20th century Fox logo statue destroyed in the trailer.
oh no, I
No.
guess I need to watch it again. I haven't watched anything else from Deadpool and Wolverine since I think like the first like real trailer, not a teaser trailer. And
There,
just because I don't want to,
you
I don't,
should.
I don't want to. I just want to go see the movie. Like, I'm, I'm,
Are you
I'm.
tired of all the cameo
Yes,
announcements?
yes. Thank you, Zach. That's what I was going to say. I'm so tired of people being like, this person's reportedly going to be in the movie. This person's. I'm like, dude, stop, stop. Like, I don't want to hear. It gets me almost to the point of being like, I'm done with social media. But of course,
It's
I'm
a
not.
cameo fest.
Yeah, and like I'm okay with that. Just stop telling me who's going to be in it. I want to be surprised. It's like telling me the ending to a movie. I don't want to know. And so
Han
social
Solo
media is full of
dies.
that.
Kylo Ren cries.
Does he though?
And inside.
But anyway, yeah, so okay, let's move on to
Wait, I want to tell
oh
my story of
oh
a
yes, I'm sorry.
strange
Go ahead, go ahead.
con. So I was seeing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, and which was a lot better than the
The
first
first one.
one,
Yeah.
which basically retconned events from the first one during one scene where you see one of the, I think, I don't know if it was Christopher Robin. It was some character. No, it wasn't Christopher Robin in the sequel, watching something on TV, and then the camera pans to what's on TV, and it's scenes from the first Winnie the Pooh movie.
So the first Blood and Honey is a
Yes.
movie in the second movie's universe.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh,
Basically, it was like
wow.
their justification, I
Spoiler
guess,
alert.
as to why it's a different actor for Christopher and why
That's
Piglet
hilarious.
and Pooh look different and a lot better, in my
Huh.
opinion. Not as scary.
That's
But
funny.
anyways, I use my app to reserve my seats and all that. the Fandango app or Regal, whatever it might be. And anyways, I wasn't expecting anyone to sit next to me, but when I uh, go to my seat, it's just this one guy just aimlessly looking up in the air, standing in front of the screen, looking up. I think he had glasses, a very like a scrawny man. And so I go to my seat and sit down, and then the guy ends up coming to his seat, and that seat ended up being next to me. Then I pull out my phone and to see if anyone's supposed to be sitting next to me, and no one is.
Whoa.
Wait, so he just sat next to you?
Yes,
Oh, he
and
probably snuck in.
no, he was already there.
Oh,
Or he could have snuck in. Who knows? But
yeah.
I felt kind of a little uneasy for I guess the first 20 minutes or so. Like, is he gonna pull out a knife and stab me to death? Perhaps. So
Oh,
He just
boy.
who
wanted a
knows?
friend. He couldn't. He was afraid to watch horror by himself.
Maybe,
A
but
friend.
his demeanor was very odd. He never. I said, "What's up?" He never said hello. So I was thinking of there. Maybe I should move down. But it was kind of like with Justin's anxiety
Hmm.
situation. Like, if I move, what's he gonna think? Or so I ended up. What I ended up doing, I think I ended up going to the bathroom, so to speak, really quickly, then coming back.
And sitting in a
But
different seat.
no, I went to the same seat. It was like, I'm just gonna sit next to the guy. So, and it was
All
before
that, all that
and
for nothing.
it was before the movie started, like during the previews. So,
Oh, gotcha.
and there ended up being some other guys. I felt a little comfortable, but it's like weird. It was only three people, including me, in the theater.
I
It was
don't
kind
know
of
if
odd.
Blood and Honey played here in Arkansas.
It wasn't a wide,
Yeah, it wasn't a wide release.
yeah, sadly.
I
But
should
again, you're
watch
not
it though.
missing much. But you should watch it whenever it happens to be on a free service. So I wouldn't pay for it.
Well, I
Again,
think it's on Peacock,
there you
and
go.
I have Peacock. I think it's on Peacock.
It's very bad, but very good. That's
Yeah,
all I gotta say.
Oh, I
But
love.
the first
Sharknado.
one's still a lot scarier for different reasons. But
Hmm.
that's the end of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That's part two. That's the second movie of this duo of directors slash writers, and they have a whole universe of movies like
Yeah. Well, they
Bambi's
want
coming
they're
out,
yeah they wanted.
multiverse,
I read a
not
thing where
multiverse, but
with all these Disney characters or whatever horror movie type thing universe they want to do,
that are
and I was
public
like,
domain. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm down. I'm down for that. Okay, so let's
you'd
move on.
laugh.
Yeah, let's move on to. We've talked about theaters for a while. Let's move on to home viewing. So, what are y'all's thoughts on that? Like, what are your pros for a home viewing? Jake, let's start with you.
Use the bathroom.
Simply because you have, I think it's different for you because you have a kid, right?
Yeah.
So, there's different, uh, I bet there's different pros for you.
Yeah.
And cons.
Home viewing for me is primarily the ease, especially with streaming and how easy it is to either like rent, purchase, buy digital or stream. I can pretty much think of any movie and find it within like a couple minutes. So they've made it very, very easy, which is important when like, you've had a terrible day and your kid has fought you all night long and you finally put them down for bed and it's like 9 p.m. and you're like, okay, I just want to space out for a couple hours before I hit the hay. And it's really easy just to, get on Prime or Amazon, if that's the same thing, Prime or Netflix or Disney, and find like a really good movie or TV show you can sit down to watch. And it's very cost effective,
Mm-hmm.
like going to a theater to see a movie is like $15. What's one movie?
Depends on what day you go.
Whereas streaming, $15 a month, and I can watch, I can watch 10 a week.
Anything. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
And better quality visually, potentially, with no scratches on the screens.
yeah, so the screens. I just gotta worry about the cats jumping in front of it.
Okay, what about you, Zach? What are pros for you sitting at home watching movies? I mean, I guess I would think our pros are relatively the same, but go ahead.
Yeah, you get to use the bathroom without feeling guilty. And that, 'cause I've had it in the theater where I've only done it, I could count on my hands once or twice, really. Definitely once. It was during, I want to say, some war movie by Guy Ritchie, and had to use the bathroom. I couldn't hold it any longer, or else I would have let it go in my pants. So I made it
You could have
quick
went with
during.
had an accident and you said,
Yeah,
let it go in my pants. Go ahead.
yeah. But anyways, I went during a scene where I could sense there's not really,
Mhm.
I'm not going to miss much. I could kind of sense it. I didn't have to look it up. I know there's guides on the best times to go out and use the
Yeah.
bathroom or vape or whatever people do. And I that's the only time I did that. Whereas at home, I could just simply pause the
Mhm.
film, the TV show. I'll be
Go
good
to
to
the
go.
bathroom. Totally.
And other than that, I just better snacks at my disposal and can lay down on my couch. That's how often I watch TV or movies. And anyways, it just feels more comfortable just laying down on the side. But what else? AC. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it was like most movie theaters, though. It seems like the ones I've been in are get pretty chilly. But
Yeah, but you can control the AC at
yeah,
home,
it's true. That's
right?
true.
As
Yeah,
opposed to the movie theater where you can go tell them, but who knows if they're going to actually do anything about it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
There's not
I
a
mean,
whole lot. There's not many pros I could like expand on because again, the movie theater is my favorite place
yeah.
in the world to watch anything really.
I,
I'd
I,
watch video game tournaments on the big screen if I could.
well, during COVID during COVID and like right after COVID, when things were starting to open, like Cinemarks for sure was like promoting that you can rent out a theater for video games, like because they were losing money, right? Because nobody was going to the movie theater, so they're like, "Hey, come use our theater for video games." I think you could still do it, but they're just not promoting it as much as they were
Mm,
before, which I think is really cool. I never actually did it, and I probably should have, but like, it was like $200, I think, for a few hours or something. It
mm.
was very expensive, but like, it still would have been cool to do. Don't get me wrong, but um, so yeah.
Split the costs with
Yeah,
I
whoever
always
that and
thought,
that's what we
taking
would have
part.
done. We
Yeah.
totally would have done that. Totally would have split it between me and like six other people, so I didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, so I think my pros are relatively the same as far as sitting at home as I can find what I want in like a second. Plus, I have a pretty extensive movie collection already, and so like if I can't find something that I'm like I don't want to pay for this, I can just if I already have it in my movie collection, just use that. Um, and then yeah, I can control the weather. I can lay down if I need to. I do have a pretty sweet sound system at home, so like it that also helps. Um, I can do drugs at home where I can't do them. I'm just kidding, but I can drink like I can drink and not have to pay $7 for an Angry Orchard like I would at a restaurant or at a theater.
You can fart freely.
I can totally fart freely. I can fart out loud, right?
unabashed.
Unabashed farting,
You don't have to let it out gradually at
or
the
just hold it.
like in public.
Or
Yeah.
like when you gotta like grab one butt cheek and pull it so you get the
That sounds
get the
like
little.
that sounds like a you thing.
Or just
Jake.
wait till it gets to like a loud
I'm just too
scene.
thick.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Zach, wait till it gets to hot scene. I'm like, there we go. I can do it now. That's funny.
Hopefully, it's not too deadly.
I uh, I usually hold it as far as peeing goes. Um,
That's hard. That's
That's
a
not
it
rough to
is.
healthy
go.
though.
It can get painful and like
That's why I'm strategic
That's
on what
not
I drink
healthy.
and eat before I go to the theater.
well, if it's a re-release that I've seen, especially Studio Ghibli stuff, I'll just go whenever I want, right? Because I've seen it
Yeah, you've
before.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like there was one movie, and I wish I could remember which movie it was, but I remember thinking this is probably a good time to go. So I went and because I really had to go, and I went and came back, and it was the best time to go. Like there was really nothing going on. Um, so that was awesome. But yeah, pros very accessible, and that's one thing that I teach in school is like movies are the most accessible things that we have access to, right? Is movies. Like yeah, we their books are pretty accessible, but you have to go sometimes you have to go to the library to get a book if you don't have it. So yeah, so then like plays, I mean yeah, they're coming out with streaming services for plays, but not every play is filmed. So it's like movies are the most accessible thing, and like you said, Jake, is like I just bought the Deadpool and Wolverine ticket and it was 13.50. Luckily I had a credit so it didn't cost anything for me, but it was 13.50. And like for $15, it's like with Max, $15, no ads, I can watch several things for a whole month, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think our pros, and probably our cons are pretty much the same, especially because we're all movie theater lovers. I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about that. Um, so I do have animals, so like I can make sure they go outside when they need to. Whereas if like usually when I go see a movie, it's on Tuesday, and like sometimes if I'm already at work, I'll just go in Little Rock, and so I won't get home till 8 or 9, and the dogs have been locked up for several hours at this by this point. So if I watch a movie at home, I can pause it and let them out, or go get a drink if I want, and go make some food if I want, kind of thing. So
Have a whole feast.
yeah, totally. And I could just sit at my table, my kitchen table, because my kitchen table is right in the same room as the TV is. So anyway, any cons? What are the cons you guys think? I think this list will be kind of short for us. So I'm not gonna single you out. I just whoever comes up with one first.
Distractions, 100%. Like, sit down and watch. Like I said, like it's really nice because when you put the kid down, you can sit down, watch a couple hours, whatever you want. If you try to watch something before you put them down,
Oh
I
yeah.
have to, I have to fight the entire time. Just like, oh, I want to watch Coco Melon. I want to watch Paw Patrol. Like let's watch Disney, or she just wants me to do other things with her. Not that I don't take this as me having any disdain towards my child whatsoever.
Yeah.
I love her with
He
all my
hates his
heart.
child.
But shh, but but
Incessant
like
requests.
but it is like you can't sit down and watch a movie with a little one running around.
I will say that like just having been around my niece and nephew, my friends' kids, like they when they get to a certain age, like how old is Everest? She's 4.
She just turned 4.
Okay. So like when they get to a certain age, and I think part of this is because my friends have 2 kids, and so they have each other, right? Is like the whole time we're watching a movie together, they're in another room playing video games, right? Which probably isn't good in its own right because video games, or they're watching like, and I hate to sound like an old ass fart right now, but like the stuff they watch, I'm like, this is gonna
Skippity
rot
toilet,
your brain. Like,
What, like
skibbity toilet, Minecraft
yeah,
compilations.
TikToks or
yeah.
something?
Well, not really TikToks,
Shorts.
but Minecraft YouTubes and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, this is, and I literally said this, and I thought you are officially an old person. This is going to rot your brain because it was not. There was nothing to it.
There's no
No, yeah,
story.
Yeah, there's
it's
no story.
just
Like
as a quick aside, the
just
stuff on
like
YouTube for
playing,
kids
and they're
awful.
yeah, exactly, and they're playing Minecraft and they're just speaking as they're playing, which is fine, but like watch something else at least. Like don't spend all your time watching this one thing,
Yeah.
which is what they do, or they'll play it, and I'm totally down playing video games. Love video games. I would much rather than play video games all day than watch those stupid videos all day.
I have to watch Everest because like she loves Paw Patrol. So like occasionally
Yeah, but
we if she's really good, we're like, okay, you can watch 5 minutes of Paw Patrol on the phone. So we give her the phone, she puts on Paw Patrol, and inevitably with like 2 minutes, she clicks another video and it is dribble. And it's like
yeah,
these people, they like have little like Paw Patrol stuffed animals, or they do their own little 2D animations of Paw Patrol,
yeah,
and it's just
it's horrible.
dribble. It's
How about
awful.
how about Peppa Pig?
So the
Oh,
shows
we
themselves
we do not stand Peppa Pig. We hate Peppa Pig with a passion. She is not allowed in this household.
How
weird.
about Arthur? Arthur.
Here's
Arthur's
the
fine.
thing, like those,
PBS.
I would much rather than watch those shows, Peppa Pig, Bluey. What was the show you said? Paw Patrol.
Louis pretty good.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Like those
Clifford.
shows to
That's a
me,
genuine,
I
authentic
well, I
show.
think that like those shows at least have a story. Like, yeah, they might not be educational, right? Which is fine. Like, they don't need to watch
Clifford, you
education.
learn lessons in life.
Yeah, but at
Yeah,
least the ones made, they have narratives. They have a 3 act
yeah,
structure. They
that's what I'm
have
saying.
something.
They have something and they can learn how to tell a story, at least, you know. But like when they watch these, and
Skibbity toilet Riz
let me tell you
compilation
something.
number 29.
Let me tell you something. I am not against watching someone play video games on Twitch. Not against it. But if that's the only thing you
I watch
watch,
you.
yeah, exactly. I'm hilarious though, Zach. So remember that.
Which
But
reminds me, where have you been?
I was thinking about that earlier today, and I thought I haven't streamed in a while
Do it 30
because
minutes. 30 minutes is all we asking.
who's
Bro, you
we?
ever start playing at like 11 o'clock
Your
at night?
10
When I'm in
viewers.
bed,
Yeah,
I get a
and
notification. They're like, Justin is streaming Mario. And I'm like, mother ever, I'm not watching. I'm going to
okay.
sleep. Play earlier.
Quick aside. What is a good time for you?
For me, like
For Jake.
anytime, like 8 to 10.
Okay, got it.
You could turn on VODs, so, Justin, on Twitch through the
Oh,
settings.
yeah. If you did video on demand,
yeah.
What is
So,
that?
so
video on demand.
when you're done,
Like record it?
and then play later.
it just records automatically.
Yeah,
And
okay.
like when you're done streaming, people could go to your stream and
I could record it in a. Yeah, I guess I could do that.
yeah,
I
you don't
just
have to record
I
it, but
wanted
you just
to.
turn on VODs. That's what
Okay,
it's called. It's
okay.
an option.
I wanted to kind of learn the ropes of just streaming first before I started recording. So yeah, maybe that's something I'll look into is start recording so you can go back and watch it later. Anyway, okay, well yeah, I think our cons are relatively the same. We're on cons, right? Sorry.
Yeah. The cons of the home theater experience or watching anything.
Yeah. I think one big con for me is that I live alone.
An internet
Um,
connection.
Yeah. Internet connection. I have a pretty good internet connection, so for the most part, like mine's okay. But like I live alone, so like I watch just like at the movie theater. I have to watch movies by myself at home. So it would be nice to have someone here with me to watch movies with. Honestly, I know it sounds kind of sad because I'm lonely, but hey, Zach's in the same situation as me, I guess. So, but you're a lot younger than I am. You got more time, buddy.
How old are you? 36?
37. Thank you, though.
37.
I
That's
appreciate
close.
it. Yeah,
I'm 30.
I thought you were in your 40s already.
dude. I thought you were in your 40s already. We get
I
freaking
feel
beard.
like it.
You guys
And-
look similar.
Except for
I
the,
keep
the
I keep
gray in
getting
my beard.
People keep calling me JD Vance.
That is
These old
hilarious.
geezers, all these
Because
old geezers are like, "Hey, JD Vance Jr." I'm like, oh,
you do kind of look like JD Vance.
Fist in the air too, I'm sure.
Oh my god, that is
You didn't
hilarious.
JD Vance didn't always have a beard either.
Just until you started growing one, Jake, and then he started growing one. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway,
he's 30.
we-
He's 39.
Well, good for him. He's Trump's running mate. That's a whole other issue.
Turtles.
I'm really, you know what? I don't want to go into politics on this podcast. Okay, so overall, we prefer going to the movie theaters. I think out of the three of us, I mean, we wouldn't have a movie podcast. I think if we didn't.
Yeah, it's an experience going to the theater, and
Yeah,
despite how often we go, especially you and I, Justin, it's always an experience, no matter what. Yes,
Right.
I will argue the days of midnight releases. I miss those where
I miss midnight releases.
It's just a select number. You could count on your hand how many auditoriums are showing, not 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, but all on one night, midnight, that feeling of
Getting to see that
just
movie first.
getting to see that movie with everyone, and especially for like big IPs like Star Wars, or I guess Star Wars is what I
Well,
remember.
hang on.
I went to midnight releases for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and it was experience every time. I was Jango Fett for when I was in 5th grade for Revenge of the Sith. My friend
Aw.
was Darth Vader.
That's so cute. Okay, hang on. I want to see
Lord Vader.
Deathly Hollows Part 2.
Deathly
So-
Hollows.
No, I was looking to see. We've talked about this before. What do you think the last midnight release you went to was?
Revenge of the Sith in 2005.
God, really?
That's the last one. Yeah.
What about you,
Other
Jake?
ones have been 7 o'clock showings.
I don't think I've ever been to a midnight release.
Midnight releases were the best, dude. I think the last one for me was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hollows Part 2. And that was in 2011. No, sorry, Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was in 2014. That was the last midnight release. I miss midnight releases, man.
Why? Why do you miss them? Explain yourself.
I guess like you said, like it's just that feeling of being able to go see the movie first.
Yes, anticipation.
And it wasn't this whole like
Don't you get the butterflies in your stomach to a degree? I did.
No, not really.
I was that
But
excited.
I was excited, but not to that. I guess not to that point. But I
Come
just remember
on.
thinking, I'm here before everybody else. Like, and it's at midnight. It's just something fun to do at midnight. To go to the movie theater. Sucks for the people who work there that want to go home. That's been there all day, but
That's true.
whatever. And
Too
so
bad.
like,
Get a minimum wage job.
yeah, sorry,
The
bro.
passion that counts.
You chose this job. Anyway, so yeah, I miss midnight releases. Like, I wish they still did them. And it's kind of like the whole Black Friday thing where Black Friday's now starting on Thursday at like 5 o'clock, where midnight releases or movies releasing on Friday don't release on Friday anymore. Like, talked about Deadpool
Let's go
releasing,
Thursday.
yeah, Thursday or Wednesday or Tuesday. And it's like, just not the same. I do miss midnight releases a lot.
Bring them back. We need to have a hashtag.
Bring them back. Midnight release.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, so let's move on to our last topic of the night, and then we'll be done because this has kind of gone on for a little bit. But we've talked a little bit about physical media and how it's kind of going by the wayside, where Best Buy for sure has gotten rid of it. Some Walmarts have started getting rid of it. I can tell you the Game Exchange down the street from my house got rid of DVDs. They still have Blu-rays and stuff, but they got rid of all their DVDs. So what do you guys think about that?
It sucks. It sucks. Like as much as I enjoy streaming and appreciate the ease and availability of it, like if you don't own something and it's not physical, you don't own it. You're licensed. It's licensed to you. And I feel like we have to have the capability to actually own the things that we pay for. And so the fact that they're making it not an option anymore is a little bit scary to me. Like streaming is easier. But there is something very pleasant about having that tangible box, that tangible
Yeah.
like a tin case or metal case or a design on the Blu-ray case that was like made for the special release or just something that you can like put on a shelf and look at and it becomes a piece of artwork and a place in your home, not just a digital file on a
On
streaming
a
service.
screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
And yeah, the benefits of physical media for me is that I own it,
Yeah,
and it's not gonna go away. We have X amount of days before it leaves, and sometimes I don't always check to see when something expires. So for things I'm really like dying to see that I haven't gotten to yet, I'll like write that down or put it in my notes app so I don't forget the title of that
yeah.
movie or series. Like right now, I have like a bunch of movies just laying around on tables and stuff, like a Batman Forever, the old clamshell
Ooh, look at that
case,
bad boy.
Deadpool, the number two, and this I got recently. It's
What
like
is
a
it?
double
Godzilla.
feature.
That's
It comes with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2 and Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. And it's the English and Japanese
That's cool.
versions. So like, and again, it's like reading a book or picking up a vinyl or a CD and reading through the packaging on the back, even though you probably have seen the movie a million times before. But like, I mean, it's looking at the artwork on the discs and some better quality than others, some cases better than others. I mean, I own like several Blu-ray and DVD like cases in case I need to, fix the Blu-ray case. So for me, I think physical media is the way to go.
So you actually keep alternate versions of cases?
Yeah, I have extra. I bought on Amazon like one of these Blu-ray cases. They say like have the blue emboss of the Blu-ray on it in case I buy like a DVD at like this massive library of movies where they sell mostly used movies and DVDs and like comic book memorabilia. It's like where I think I took a picture. Justin, remember that Studio Ghibli vinyl? It was like
Oh
cost
yeah.
$50, Japanese import. But anyways, yeah, on Amazon I bought DVD and Blu-ray cases in case the movies I buy there, whatever the cases aren't up to snuff. So I'll
Yeah.
replace it. And obviously, how to replace this thing in the cover. You just slip it in the new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Totally.
I mean, it's
I actually
physical
have.
media is my love for sure.
Yeah, I actually have some
Better
of
audio
those.
quality too. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I actually have some of those on my list on Amazon of the three fold. Blu-ray, with the thing in the
Oh
middle,
yes,
because
yeah,
I have some movies in there that they just put like in a sleeve and they just stuck it in the case, and I'm like, I'm gonna look up and see if they do. They sell like the threefold, whatever you want to call them, Blu-ray
yeah,
cases where
yeah.
you have more than two discs or whatever. So
And
yeah.
they smell nice too. I mean, I'm weird, probably. It's like smelling a book, whether it's old or
Well,
new.
when I collected video games, it's kind of the same thing where like I was able to buy um extra cases for those cases that came in that were crap or whatever or didn't have a case, and I would just make one. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean for me, like I pulled a couple movies down from my collection, and like there are companies that still make physical copies, and then most companies still do it. It's just some retailers aren't selling them. So like you can still
sadly.
find it on Amazon and stuff. And I love steelbooks, which I didn't pull out any steelbooks, but we know what steelbooks look like. But then there's also the Criterion Collection, which I like adore. Criterion Collection movies, because like here's three right here, One Night in Miami, and it's just like the artwork, you know. It's not even
Open it.
really.
Does it have a booklet of information?
So
Probably does.
there's a book in there, right there.
There we go. Yep, they all have
Um,
booklets.
and then I pulled down one that you like, Godzilla, which is this one's not a plastic one like this. It's like cardboard, but you can
What is it? The 54 or
yeah, the
like
1954 Japanese.
Japanese?
Yeah, and so
Wow.
it comes with a book, a cool little book, and then it comes
Yeah.
with like a foldable, even Godzilla,
Wow.
little pop up Godzilla in there. You know what I mean? So like they do stuff that's like unique that people don't. Like yeah, I still buy like
Regular.
4K releases
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
the black whatever, or Blu-ray releases that are um, blue. I
Ultra
just bought the
HD.
actually. Hang on, I just bought
Remastered.
the steelbook version of The Boy and the Heron recently,
Wow.
and it's really cool. And then you open it, and it's got books and stuff in there.
I like that assort, like the way it's
Great.
the two discs are set up, like kind
Yeah,
of overlaying each other.
yeah. And
Wow.
the cool thing is this doesn't, like a lot of these, they touch. This doesn't touch. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah.
there's a gap. So yeah, and then I just pulled down a Wes Anderson film, Life Aquatic with Steve
Wes.
Zissou, and like it's just like the artwork and stuff. To me, like seeing a shelf full of movies is art to me. It was the same when I collected video games. It was like looking at art, and sometimes I could just look at it and be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's you could
So
just
yes,
look at it for hours and
yeah,
never
I
get bored.
I could just it's just nice to be able to hold it. And then you want to buy things like I got this for Christmas, and it's just like the whole steelbook collection of
Wow.
Transformers. It's just like these really sweet ass collections.
That's so cool.
Box sets in general have different designs, and it's
So
amazing what people come up with.
and then there's a company also called Limited Run Games who it's a video game company, but they take either digital only games, they make them physical, or they'll take older games like a lot of Star Wars games from the Xbox era. They would take those and put them on physical discs for newer consoles. So Switch is what I would buy them for.
Hmm.
So it's nice to know that those companies are out there, like the Criterion Collection and Limited Run, that still make these really cool versions of these movies. And not to mention, but like they don't. It's not just the books. Like they also have special features on there that you can watch almost
Yeah.
always. So
What are
it's
the
just
cons of physical media, would you say? I think over the years, especially more as a kid, buying a DVD, whether it's new or old, mostly when it was used or like Hollywood video. Hollywood was my place. Uh, Obviously, scratched up discs, and it results in it
yeah.
skipping or not even it stops 30 minutes and you can't watch the rest of the movie. That's like
I,
only con for me.
I was recording Clerks because I had the Blu-ray, and about an hour and 9 minutes into it, it started skipping. And I was so pissed. And then I
So
remembered I
you
was
had to so you impulsively you went and bought a new copy.
yeah, no. I just took it out, and I was like, crap, what am I gonna do? Because I wanted to use Clerks as I wanted to use it for school. And then I figured out all that other stuff, how to record other ways, and it's on my Voodoo account, so I just did it from there. Um,
Digital.
yeah, and like I still have a digital library from Voodoo, Fandango now is what it's called, Fandango at home. Um, But like I still have my Voodoo account, but like if they wanted to pull those, even though I purchased them, I mean they could, regardless if they're my digital copies. Like they could be like, we're not going to service this anymore, so it's gone.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest recent pieces of news when it comes to physical media and what the future is, Redbox. They're
Yeah,
bankrupt. I
so
think
that
that's a big one. I went to bankrupt Redbox and every now and then for cheaper movies and
yeah,
newer releases, and
I went there a
and
few
now
times.
it's kind of sad that I mean a lot of people of all ages. It wasn't just older people. It was people that they go to Walgreens or Walmart, wherever the Redbox machine might be, and as on your way out, you pick up a movie. You just go there for the movie. But it's kind of
Yeah,
sad to see Redbox
I
phase
kind of
out.
wish I could buy one of those with the movie still in it.
It just as a
That would be
decoration.
so
Just
cool.
have it
Just to
in,
like have it in
just
the theater room or your
have it
like
in my house,
That
man.
would be
man
that'd be worth a
cave.
lot.
That'd be awesome. It'd be like it's like our generation's version of pinball machines.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, I would
What's it
totally
mean
freaking
though? I'm
price.
curious. For the people that still have the movies, like when they officially go bankrupt and there's no longer those machines. Like, what if you still have one of those movies? What are they gonna do? Charge you somehow? Probably not. You'll get to
I
keep
would think not.
I think
the
Netflix, like
special edition movies.
When Netflix did it, they just let people keep the discs.
Yeah, and they just stopped like recently, very recently stopped doing the DVDs with Netflix.
I have a,
Like
spe- I have
very
a, I have
recently.
a, I think I have, it might be a Redbox version of the movie, or maybe it's not, but it's probably not because it came in like a case, but it says it's The Judge's Son or something. It's with Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if you've seen
It's
it.
just called The Judge.
The Judge, yeah. Great movie, by the
Yeah,
way.
great movie.
But on the disc, on the front says rental, like it's not a sticker or anything, but on the case on the front, the artwork
Yeah,
it says rental. And inside there's some on like on the inside,
there's probably like
like
the
like around here, there's like some white sticker thing.
yeah.
And I think there's even when you pop it in, there's something that indicates it's not like a true like copy that folks could get at the store. But
Yeah.
I think I have like the rental version.
Whenever I was working at Game Exchange and even now you still find those rental DVDs and cases that people got from like Hastings because Hastings is right down the street and they still rented movies to the day they closed. Like, well, not the day they closed, but right up to the point where they were closing. They rented movies still. And so they had their own special cases that said like rental on it. And so people would sell those to Game Exchange. And for some reason, Game Exchange took them. I don't know why, but
Hmm.
Taking out their competition. That's why.
maybe. Well, they got rid of DVDs now, so it doesn't even matter. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, I mean, like, I do see a future where physical media is going to be very limited. Um, where like we might have to get it all online or get it through some used source like Game Exchange or whatever or
Yes.
eBay.
Especially for older movies.
Well, I mean, because you look at uh, older consoles now, like video game consoles, where you can't buy them anymore in stores, and I think that movies are gonna kind of like even Walmart has DVDs now, but like I don't know. DVDs have I don't know how the sales of DVDs are, but they still sell them, right? In movie or in Walmart and stuff. So I do see a world where it's all digital, including video games and stuff like that. Where like I'll still collect Switch games physically. My Switch, almost all physical games. Xbox, not so much. With Xbox, I just buy digital. Um, because it's just easier. Because me and my friend game share, and it's just like there's no sense in me going
But,
out and buying the
do you
physical
know
disc.
anyone, guys, that doesn't have any desire to watch streaming shows or movies? Like people that just have DVD players or VCRs. I mean,
No, no,
there's
not.
those people exist.
Oh yeah, I'm
They'll
sure they
just
do.
pop in the
Well, I
DVD,
mean, like
and they're not even Blu-ray.
when I worked at the library, we checked out movies, and people came in there all the time to check out movies. And like, there was a kid that always came in there, and she was a very sweet kid, and her mom would come in there too, and they would always check out movies, and they would always get me to look up the because like IMDb shows what like why something's been rated what it is
Oh, the
rated.
parents
Yeah.
advisory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And so like she would always be like, why is this rated R? And I'm like, okay, well, it's rated R because there's strong sexual content, there's nudity, blah, blah, blah. Or why is this rated PG-13? Oh, well, there's some drug use and blah, blah, you know what I mean? So that they would
I'm
always
gonna,
come in
yeah,
and
that's
check out
nice.
DVDs and stuff like all the time. So there are people that still rely on the physical media because they don't have access to internet, you know, and they don't have the money to pay for internet. And it's like
Yeah,
something they have to sacrifice because they don't make enough money to get internet.
absolutely. Yeah, the
Um,
library is a haven for
the
not just
library
literature, but
is a great
media
resource.
in
Yes.
general.
There was a moment in there where I thought I was going to teach a class during the summer that required my students to watch a lot of movies, which there was. I ended up doing it with one class. So I went to the library a lot to get those movies to quote unquote record them. And so I would go to the library, get those movies, rip them, and then bring them back. And so the library was very, very useful to me at that point in time. So the
Like
library is a
this,
great resource for anything.
like this movie right here. I don't, you probably can't see it, but it says French in the bottom, and then on the back some code. But anyways, it's from a library in Massachusetts, I believe. But that's the version that Amazon gave me, I guess.
Weird.
It says 2 day DVD, one
What is
dollar per day overdue.
Somebody stole that from
yeah.
a
It's
And
like
movie
I got
tab.
sold it on Amazon.
it's some obscure World War II
That's actually kind of
French
cool.
movie, but hey, I just want the DVDs because I can't find it on digital. So
That's cool.
yeah, it
It'll
doesn't
be
look the greatest with all these like markers and markings and stuff, but that's what makes it
what's the movie called?
special. It's called The Roundup. It's about so during World War II, the French government was complicit basically, and with the Nazis for a little bit since they were under control by Hitler, and rounded up a bunch of Jews and put them in a massive stadium. So and there's this doctor and these other folks that were trying to go against um, the orders of trying to round up the Jews and actually provided care for them. But anyways,
Sure.
it says it's from the Monmouth County Library, and I believe that's in New
Did you
Jersey.
watch it?
I've seen it. Yeah,
Was it good?
yeah. It's in the name of the guy, but he's from in Godzilla, the 1998 Godzilla movie. It's a French guy, but this is
What
entirely
year?
in French.
What year? Do you know?
It's like early 2000s. I can't see beyond the thing. Don't you
Is
hate
it
it with these
2011?
2006 or 11? But don't you
Oh,
hate these stickers sometimes? Like you want to like peel them off, but then you don't want to have the residue left.
yeah.
I need a device that is able to like take off all the residue.
Oh, well, you can
Just
steam it.
use.
Steam
So
it.
yeah, I was gonna say you could use something hot like a hair dryer or something to melt the adhesive, peel it off, and then you can what's called like I think it's called gooby gone or something like that. That will
Ruby
take.
gun.
I
It's
think
like
it's
green.
yeah, and it'll take the residue off.
Yeah, I need to do that one day. But again, it's not a massive deal. I have so many movies that are
Oh, here it is.
like this, but
Found it. It's called La Rafle
yeah, it's pretty
or
good.
the Roundup, 2010, a faithful retelling of the 1942 Vale d'Eve Roundup and events surrounding it. Cool.
And
I'll
it's
watch this movie.
French.
I want to watch this
And the
movie.
guy from Godzilla in 1998's in it. I don't know his name.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, it's kind of a long episode, so sorry everyone, but
It's
I
extended
think
edition.
good conversation. Good conversation. So yeah, I think that should wrap everything up. Any final thoughts, guys? Or pretty good?
Movie theaters are special. They're never going to go away. As people were thinking they might had be heading that direction, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
For sure.
If they're still standing today, despite that, some companies did go or file for bankruptcy, understandably, during the time when theaters were shut down. They're back up and good to go.
Yeah. The way I see it is, I think every movie's worth watching in the movie theaters. I get that.
At least once.
Yeah, I think every movie is worth watching once. If you can see it in the theaters, even better. Um, I don't know. I just think again, movie theaters is just an experience. It's not just going to the movies with your friends, which is fun. but it's an experience being there. So go to the
Even if
movies
you're alone.
yeah, even if you're alone. I do it every freaking week. And I can tell you the first movie I saw alone was the Purge 3 election year. And
Ooh.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll go by myself. So I finally
Good for
went by
you.
myself. And so been doing it ever since. So yeah, if you can watch a movie in theaters, that's the way to do it. I get it though. Convenience and life happens and makes you watch it at home, which is fine. But I don't know. The movies is just a whole experience. And there's been several iterations of changes within the movie theaters as far as trying to keep butts in seats, especially after the home market expanded with TV and then eventually home video and stuff like that. So it's been several ways to try to keep people in seats and just I don't know. If you can go see a movie in theaters, go see a movie in theaters. Cool. Well, hey, good talk, guys. If you want to comment on this episode for any reason at all, if you want to tell us we suck or that we're great, doesn't matter. Hit us up on any, pretty much the big social medias. And you can listen to us on any of the bigger, better podcasts, Apple Music and stuff like that, Spotify and whatnot. So hit us up. Hit us up on YouTube if you want to leave a comment or something, or if you have any ideas for other episodes for us, please hit us up. We want to know. We want to know what your ideas are. So please hit us up.
Have we ever had any comment outside of that one person lambasting me for getting a history fact wrong?
Yeah, that was my friend. Yeah, that was my friend. She did that, which is fine. Whatever. Anyway, no,
Wasn't it
not
like an S as an
Have we
essay
had
or
anything
something?
else beside that? I just want anything, please. Anything
we need-
outside of that.
We need
seriously.
the metrics again. Next episode, the metrics, or even not even on an episode. I want to see the metrics of who's watching from where.
Okay.
Give us those sweet, sweet
Well,
analytics.
to be fair, we haven't been on in a while just because we've been busy. I've been busy mainly, and so
Me too.
I'm getting back into
Everyone's
the
been
groove.
busy.
Yeah, I'm getting back into the groove of. Plus, I had to switch to a new video editor, audio editor, so I've been learning that as well. And so yeah, hit us up or listen to us, please, and let us know what you think or if any
Please.
ideas or whatever. And I guess that's all we got for you today, Jake.
Hey, have a fantastic day.
Bye.